Hey guys, you're listening to the Energy of the Untamed Heart podcast, where we talk about uncaging your divinely gifted wild heart to be as free and expansive as you were born to be. My goal is to use our stories, guest interviews, and your questions to tease out what has been keeping your wild heart under wraps. I'm your host, Mielle Fox, and together we will shatter the myths of our old stories to set our wild heart free. So thanks for choosing you and showing up today. You know, sometimes you meet someone who just totally shifts your world. Someone who's like those little sparklers, those little dancing sparklers of goodness with a touch of sass and a little humor and a heart of gold. Lesley Fornelli is one of these sparks. She shows up and you just want to hug her. You just want to wrap her amazingness around you so that you can soak up everything that she is and everything that she shares. So join me today for a really raw, little vernacular, open conversation about reaching that place where you just need to wake the F up. So yeah, we swore a little bit in this one. It was fun though. Put on your earbuds or don't play this with the kids in the car. But please be sure to listen because there are just so many pearls of wisdom in this convo. We talk about numerology, energy, love, life, frustration, passions, and more. I just love how Lesley introduces herself in her bio. I'm going to read it off to you because it's just too good. Lesley Fornelli, it's a remembering. Lesley utilizes EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, meditation, journaling, numerology, and her intuition to support midlife women on their journey back to themselves. Who doesn't want to walk home to themselves? Hello? You know what I mean? Working with Lesley is an experience of remembering what life is like to live life more than worry about it. So it's a really, it's a beautiful bio, but until you hear this conversation, the essence of the beauty and purity of Lesley, you just can't pick it up reading the words. So tune in. Here we go. It's going to be epic. Yeah, all foggy, right? Like I live with that. I know. Oh my gosh. So I'm actually, wow. I'm your Venus. How exciting.
Yeah, totally.
It is.
You are my Venus.
So this
Yeah,
empty
that's
in the
really neat.
middle, I find so interesting because I don't see you that way. Well, I don't see you
Mm-mm.
empty. All right. For the listeners who would like to know
It's
what
not
we're
empty
talking
in the
about,
middle.
it's not empty. We're referring to the energy grid of how your birth energetics can be coded and give you a sense of what your energetic influences are in your life. So it's a grid. And Lesley here's trying to tell me that she's completely devoid of all categories, feminine, masculine, and in between in the emotional plane, which I find really hard to believe because you were like one gigantic heart at all times.
Totally.
I
I
know.
agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. So I
So
just want to
funny.
know, like, how isn't this interesting? I mean, when you said you're a seven of hearts, the first thing through my mind was like, well, of course you are. Like, well, of course you are. Like, I'm like, what else would you be? You would either be a king of
Yeah.
hearts or seven of hearts. I mean, what else would you be? So, how did you go from before the awakened seven of hearts you, before you knew this of
Mm.
yourself, to where you are? Hmm.
Tell me more. What do you mean?
Oh, you could just start post diapers and pre-gray hair and fill in the blanks.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. And I love it because this is when my, if we want to call it awakening, my exploration really started was post diapers, pre-gray hair. I hit my wall. I've always been a really rebellious, adventurous, unique spark, and really prescribed to get a partner, get a career, get the 2.5 kids with the white picket fence. Like wholeheartly drank that Kool-Aid.
Boy, does that
Spent
go
my
against
whole
the free
life,
spirit. Wowza.
you know, right? And on
Right?
the way, along the way, like my now husband and I, when we were dating, when we were both just finished university, both starting our careers, went and had a meeting with a mortgage broker, and both got so spooked that within April, May, June, July, August, within 5 months, we had sold everything except our car and we're living in Hong Kong.
Wow. That's fun.
Yeah, we were like, yeah, it's so fun. Oh my gosh, I'm a teacher. He's not a teacher, but we both ended up teaching English. And in Hong Kong, there are a lot of holidays, bank holidays, if you will, both Western and Eastern, I guess you could say. So you get time off at harvest, you get time off at Christmas, you get time off at Chinese New Year, you get time off at all of double time off. And every time we had that time off, we would travel. So we traveled like it was our job. It was the most amazing 2.5 years. We ended up getting married there. We went to City Hall and got married in Hong Kong just because we could. Came home, got really established in our careers, had our 2 children, bought a house in the suburbs, and my kids, I think, were like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, and I was stuffing 2 kids into the car, 1 to go to daycare, 1 to go to preschool, and me to get to work on time. I stopped in my tracks and realized that my mantra that was playing in my head all day every day was, fuck this life.
Wow.
And I was shocked because I felt like I had reached my finish line.
Yeah.
And I had been led to believe that this was like going to be my euphoria.
Oh, the
This was like
destination versus the
the
journey.
totally.
Oh,
Totally.
yeah.
I did everything right. I played by all the rules. I dotted my I's, I crossed my T's. Here I am. And where's my fulfillment? And that's when I was like, heck yeah, fuck this life. No more. I went down in time, took leave of absence from my job, started working 3 days a week, then the next year 2 days a week, then now I teach 1 day a week. I got my tapping certification. I hired all the coaches, did all the things, got my numerology certifications, all of these things, and started prioritizing me and my desires. And that is a daily blessing / struggle to this day.
Yeah.
Because no one is here to say, good for you. Way to not.
I love that you are acknowledging this, because I think there is an enormous misperception when people say, I'm a business creator / owner, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a one-man show, whatever phrase you want to put to it. I think there's this sense like you live this idyllic existence and you do whatever you feel like because you're your own boss. And the flip side to that is you're kind of free falling if you're not really tuned in and either have a mentor or someone helping you along or a support crew, or even if you're the one man show, if you don't have support through other people, either like-minded people in other communities or people that you connect with or work with or exchange conversation with, it can be an extremely both rewarding and heartbreaking path to take if you're not clear in your heart that this is coming from your heart. Because to me, just to entrepreneur for the sake of, oh, I'm going to entrepreneur because I can make a little money or whatever, I think that is dooming you, not necessarily to monetary failure, but it is definitely just changing the wrapping on the box from I did corporate, now I do it for myself, but I'm still a prisoner of X, Y, and Z, because at the end of the day, you can sell ice to an Eskimo, but you've got to feel okay inside about what you do and how you do. So I see you and I honor you where you feel like, wow, this is hard, because there's nobody patting me on the back to say, oh, geez, Lesley, you're amazing and you did the greatest thing today. And my life is completely, changed every minute of every day because of you. And we get that when we work publicly, because that's sort of the chatter and the noise that shows up when you work publicly. And that's nice. I'm not saying it isn't nice. But if you're not your own best cheerleader, if it isn't you in your heart saying, "You go, girl," because you're walking your truth, you're speaking your truth, you're showing up as who you really are, you're bringing your best to the collective from your heart, not because you took it from some coach's cookbook. I think that's where a lot of entrepreneurs feel disillusioned.
I completely agree. Totally.
Mhm.
And it's this whole thing again, like you say, a different wrapping on the box is that still this belief system of external validation, be it with dollar bills, be it with kudos, be it with still having that employee mindset of like, you have to do it, as you say, totally echoing you from the heart.
Yeah, and
And
that can be hard, and I'll tell you, I hear you saying, "Yes, I got my tapping certification, I got my numerology certification," and you're brilliant in both venues, by the way. Everybody listening, she's brilliant in both venues.
oh, thanks, beauty.
But what I do say is that you can take 10 people who all take the same program, who all get the certification, but not all 10 are going to use the tool as a tool to bring out the truth of really helping people walk home to themselves, really helping people walk
Mm,
home to their heart. So I love the available tools. Sure, EFT. Yes, I'm a practitioner. I don't broadcast it. I predominantly use it for myself because it just doesn't fit my fancy about how do I want to move forward. It doesn't mean it's not an amazing tool, because it is. And it is something that helps many, many, many people, but it doesn't define you. And nor does your
mhm,
numerology. I'm an advanced numerologist, as you well know. Love me some numbers, but it does not define me. It's not the only thing.
totally.
It is one of many languages or tools that I feel I can share and use to help bring the message forward. And so when you and I talk outside of this podcast, the purity of what you speak, it's like I hear you say things and there is never ever the thought that goes through my mind like, is she for real? Like, is this real? I hear you speak and I'm like, "Oh my god, that Lesley, man, she's freaking right on it again." And it just not everybody has that. No, let me rephrase. Everybody has that, but not everybody understands how to tap into that and to own
Mm,
it, and then to own it so much that it doesn't feel weird to express and use it,
mm,
because that it has to come from somebody else isn't there. So
totally.
continue. I
And thank
interrupted
you.
the diaper to gray hair story. So we went
No,
tapping and we
no,
got numbers. And now what?
right. Totally. And thank you for that. And that does mean so much. And as much as I'm such a like build your relationship with self and number one self, and you have to be your own cheerleader, still feels good when someone says, I see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here I am with these tools, and yeah, number one, using them for me, and then launch into becoming a quote unquote coach. I see myself more as a guide,
Okay. But do
as
you think
a
that's
stand.
semantics, coach guide?
Yeah, it is. It totally is.
I mean,
100% it is.
I think we have an association to the word coach, whether it's the football coach, the bowling coach, the life coach. It's
Yeah.
almost like you pedestal somebody like, "Oh, they have the rule book and the playbook, and so they're gonna help me, like, figure out my life." And I don't feel that those of us who offer coaching services at whatever level we do, I don't feel like we're offering the playbook for somebody else's life. I feel truly like we are servicing as a guide or a conduit for people through which they
Mm,
receive the information they need to receive, but we're not necessarily giving the playbook. So I think your
no.
phraseology is correct that maybe coach doesn't feel good to you. And I would maybe ask you, so what does feel good to you? What when you think about this is how I feel when Miel comes to me and says, "Lesley, help me out here. I need some clarity. Walk with me part way because I'm just kind of stuck here." And then we go through part of your program or we have conversations like this. What does that make you feel?
It's a great question.
So I
And that's it. And I think I just haven't, maybe there isn't a word.
so you told me you're a teacher. And so another word for
Yeah.
teacher is educator,
Yeah.
mentor,
Yeah.
guide. A teacher is a guide with a little more knowledge than those who are receiving the knowledge. And so
Totally.
you are literally a teacher and you just are choosing to wrap it up in a quote unquote title. But whether it's teacher, mentor, guide, the essence of the who you are, you're almost like the earth angel holding out your hand to say, "Let me walk with you a little ways until you feel strong enough to walk on your own." Like the little kid that's like, "Mom, can you hold my finger so I don't fall over?" You're not making them walk. They might trip,
Yeah.
but you're like, "I got you, sweetheart. I got you." And this is
Yeah.
the feeling I get when I speak with you is I'm not going to prevent you from maybe falling, but it's okay. I'm holding your hand and I'll walk this portion of the journey with you because I got you.
Mm,
Like that's the cozy polar fleece feeling I feel when I talk to you, and that's what I
mm,
feel you bring forward for your clients with a little sass.
hmm. With a
Yeah.
little sass and a little like some hard truth sometimes that I don't sometimes catches them off guard. It's so interesting you bring in the analogy of holding hands because my son, my youngest, he's 9, and he has a bit of separation anxiety. He always has. It's just who he is. And sometimes we still hold hands. And it's not because he can't walk. It's not because he needs support walking. He needs to know that I'm there. And that's such a
Yes.
beautiful analogy. And that's exactly as these coaches, teachers, mentors, guides, support system for people who like are a little scared of the dark,
Mhm. Yeah,
that we can hold hands and walk towards the light
absolutely.
and just stay on the path. Don't get don't get distracted by shiny bleepy things. And it's totally, yes, we have been on our own paths, but also every single one of the women that I work with, that my clients that I support, and in our friend base too, it's I actually have never been on your journey. So let's like take a peek around and see what's there, and you will see it through your perspective and I will see it through my perspective, and we'll have a chat and see what comes out.
Yeah,
Because when it's our journey, when it's our experience home to ourself, I 100% agree with you when you said that earlier, that this whole human experience is a journey home to our true self, to our heart, to our authentic experience. But when we're on our own path, sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees.
That is so true.
And
It is so true.
need,
And I think it's the filter that we see our lives in. And you need, all of us need at some point, an extra set of eyes, if you want to call it that, who somebody who's not wrapped up in the details of our world, somebody who doesn't have the attachment that we place on all of our stuff. It's so helpful to have someone who can help you navigate and negotiate the twists and the turns. And it's not to say, nope, don't take the turn. It's just saying, oh, so listen, by the way, the guardrail's busted over there. So if you go a little too far, you might fall over the edge. Why don't you come on back here with me? Let me help you a little bit. And yeah, it is such a gift to find someone who can do that with you, who can walk that with you. And this brings me to my next question. So obviously having certain tools really makes a difference, but I have to be honest, I really feel like our life experience, our expression of what we've gone through in Earth School, each of us individually, I think provides its own set of tools. I'm sure all of your clients, because there's nobody in this world that comes through unscathed, everybody has gone through whatever their something is. And there is no comparison like, my event is 10 times better or worse than your event. Whatever, it is what it is, what it is. But the reality is, when you come through those events, those times in your life where you're like, whoa, this is rough, you gain tools. And if you didn't go through those things, then you wouldn't have the tools to help you navigate the upcoming challenge, because we all know the path isn't straight.
Totally.
Yeah,
100%.
It's never straight. It twists, it turns, it zigs, it zags. Yeah. And I think your experiences definitely serve to help women who are, they may only be 1 or 2%. I don't want to say behind, that's not necessarily the right word, but 1 or 2% away from the amount of experience and exposure that you've had the opportunity to have. And so therefore you are the guide and the mentor, because you can say, not only do I see you, but I understand because I've already walked that part of the path in a different way, but I've been on that portion of the path, and let me help guide you through the twists and the turns.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. And 9 times out of 10, the twist and the turns, what it is, it's like you're going around, my clients, you're going around a roundabout, and you keep going around, and you just get to a frustration point where you want to get spit out. You want to get off the merry-go-round. You want to stop doing the same things and getting the same result, and are just ready for something new. It's true. I love gathering in community with women. It's one of my most favorite things to do, because no matter, as you say, no matter where we've come from, big T trauma, little T trauma, no matter what, we can relate to each other so deeply, and we heal in community. We heal by realizing that we're all on the same path. We've all looped. We've all sloughed off the side of the curb. We've all taken some nosedives. And usually it's because we're doing something for somebody else.
Yeah.
We're living our life for somebody else. We're following someone else's dream. And when we do start to follow our calling and our dreams and our desires, it feels wrong. Because our ego brain is kicking up such a fuss because it doesn't feel safe. And then also looking out to the external world, it's not encouraged. It doesn't feel safe.
It's especially not encouraged for women. I don't mean to necessarily get all gender specific, but you and I were both raised in the generation of, for the most part, the men go off and do XYZ, and the women, maybe they have that part-time job, or maybe they do this or that, but their gig is they're going to be home, family care, raising, taking care of hubby and the house and the this and that. And then as you move forward through time, put whatever label you want on it. Then we went through this phase where it was almost like WWE wrestling for women, be the boss babe and be the boss woman, and you're so strong, you've got to do X, Y, and Z. And then it was almost like be superhuman, so not only be the professional or run the corporation, oh yeah, but when you're done, take off your business suit and high heels. Don't forget you can't wear sneakers yet. And then you still go home and got to do the dishes and the laundry and raise the kids. But you're supposed to be Superwoman. The Meryl Streep movie with the shoes there. The Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. So her character in that movie, I'm like, oh, whoa. There's a lot of gals that could look at this and say, oh, that could be me. And the reality is, do we have to be a big ass boss babe? Can't we just be who we are? Can't we just own who we are and say to the kids or the hubby or whatever, there's the on button on the washer, my friend, and I'll show you how much detergent to put in, and you go do that. Because mama needs to take a bath. But we're taught, don't do that. We're taught that's not okay. And I guess my question is, why is that not okay? Like, who made that rule book? Is it because we birth children? Like, what's the deal? Who made that? That's right. A man made that rule book. So I'm not saying, let's man bash, because, I live with a guy.
No.
I get that. But there's a definite expectation, whether it's spoken or not spoken, that is changing. It's just changing awfully slowly. But an awful lot of it is conditioning, that this is what we're led to believe is the path to, whatever. You'll be the queen of PTA, or everybody will say, oh my gosh, Lesley, she's the most amazing mama and teacher, and she juggles while she's making spaghetti and gets the laundry done. It's unbelievable. And sooner or later, wow, that's a burnout. That's a total burnout. Yeah.
That is a bunch of, totally. And if you love it and are truly enjoying it and getting filled up on it, amazing. And if you're not, then you have to say something.
Yes.
I spent years not saying anything. This communication piece is huge. I want to come back to that, like, successful boss babe, Devil Wears Prada. It's such an interesting time because women who are ambitious and successful in whatever avenue that they're in, we were led to believe that we needed to do it in a masculine way.
Mm-hmm.
So we needed to be like busting balls and being an asshole and doing all the things. Whereas it is our job. I truly believe that it's our job as women in this today, right here, that we get to be quote unquote successful, whatever that feels like for us, in our way.
Mm-hmm.
We can still be strong, independent, powerful woman and say no, and say I need help, and say I'm not making the roast tonight, bitches. Like, fuck off. I
Right?
just envision myself saying that to my kids and my husband. I'm not making a roast, bitches. Actually, they probably would be like, we know. Although I do like to make a nice dinner every now and again, but not every night. Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
And then
communication piece is it is so significant that we're also very often raised with the belief, again, of we're not supposed to say anything. And I mean, I know this will come as a great shock. I'm an extremely independent individual and I got a big mouth and I don't hesitate to speak up when something really aggravates me. It comes out and there it is. But I was definitely raised as the nurturer. You take care of your family, you take care of all the things, you make sure all the ducks are in a row and, everybody's got clean underwear and there's at least one clean coffee mug left. And it has been a long journey where I can actually leave the dish in the sink and say, I ain't doing the dishes. I've been at work for 15 hours. I'm not cleaning dishes tonight. And the key is I have to walk away and say, I don't really care if anybody else cleans those dishes,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to I'm not cleaning the dishes and then get upset if they don't get cleaned. So
Yeah,
again, there's this kind of unconditionality, lack of attachment to the communication piece that I think sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. The open
I
communication
totally agree.
certainly helps, but you can't go at it with, and
Yeah.
I have this expectation of some response.
Oh my gosh, right? Like I'm not loading the dishwasher and then you open the dishwasher and it's been loaded by someone else and then you freak out because it's not right.
Correct. Yeah. So this
Control
letting
freak,
go.
right?
Mm-hmm.
That releasing of control is also a whole lesson to itself.
Yes. Because it's completely 180 from what we've been raised with. If we're running
With
the house, if we're running the show, well, whatever else is going on, what
yeah,
obviously we do it our way because that's how it gets done efficiently. So
because it's the
then,
right way.
because it's the right way. So the dichotomy of this, of course, is that when you say, all right, I could use a little help here, you have to be open and honest and willing to possibly take the hit of, we don't offer to do that because we don't do it the way you want it done. And so we don't do that. So that message is not to be confrontational, is not to throw it back in your face. What I hear in that conversation is the fear of, we're not going to do it to an expectation. And then we have this other thing that happens is what makes us just back off and like not even go there because we know it's not going to be okay. So that
Yeah.
if we, the mama or the whomever in the household says, all right, y'all on dish duty now, then we also have to be able to walk away and say, I don't really care that they don't put the forks facing down and that they're in the wrong place in the flatware holder. That's
Yeah.
hard. That's very
It
hard.
is hard. Totally.
Yeah. But
Totally, because that's all part of the conditioning too, that we
mhm,
have to be in control. We have to have our hand in it.
yes. And so I think what
Yeah.
you bring to your clients is the beginning pieces that they start to see that little glimmer of light, which is, oh, I don't have to control every little thing. What a relief. What a relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that invisible load that it is exhausting, paralyzing, frustrating. Yeah. And so many women aren't aren't seeing it yet.
Yes. So what I also see and what I really love about things like your membership group and some of the other programs that you offer is through the gentle community building, the awareness of these pieces of what I call your roadblocks to your heart. Literally, you've been building
Mm,
this construction zone with all the little seahorses or sawhorses and red lights and,
mm-hmm.
diverting arrows. And you've totally covered up the who you are with these roadblocks. And this is actually the name of something I want to build. So I'm going to share it with you here. I see what you offer as a means of deconstructing the zone, like helping women remove the roadblocks to their heart through what you offer, through community, through the
Mm-hmm.
membership, through your programs. And that piece of how you do that is what brings the awareness to some of your clients. Because your point is absolutely 100% spot on. How can you start to shift your perspective of yourself when you have no awareness of what it is that's making you that unhappy? You symptomatically have an idea. My husband pisses me off because he won't load the dishes. Oh, nobody understands that I keep tripping over the socks on the way to the bathroom. Whatever. Those are just the
Yeah.
symptoms. And,
Yeah. Oh,
typically
yeah.
we slap a Band-Aid on by, putting a laundry basket in the middle of the hallway versus let's really get to the crux of the problem. And so I
Yeah.
think what you share and what you offer is teaching women the spark of awareness so they can start to see their light. And I love that.
Mm-hmm. Thank
So
you. I love that too.
so you tell me,
And
how did we find you so that you can continue to open the light for people?
you can find me on the socials on Instagram. I'm Lesley Fornelli on there with underscores and both ends of the name. I'm on Facebook, again, Lesley Fornelli, or you can email me, lesleyfornelli@gmail, or go to my website, lesleyfornelli.com.
Well, it's nice and consistent that it's Lesley Fornelli everywhere.
It has taken me years, but I've gotten it. Like, let it be easy.
Right? I love this.
Yeah.
I love this. Any parting pearl of wisdom that you would like to leave?
Mm. Don't be scared. It almost brings tears to my eyes because it feels scary when you start to take those roadblocks away because you feel like you might be blowing up your whole life. But it's worth it, and I promise.
I love this. Thank you for spending time with me.
I
So good.
loved this too. Thank you so much for the invitation. It is such an honor, and I
Oh,
love what you're doing here. What a beautiful service, Mia. You are
thank
such a
you.
gem.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love this. It's so much
You're so
fun.
good.
It's
It
just so
is
much
so
fun.
fun. I love it.
I like people are like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I talk to people like from all over the world and we just shoot the shit and we talk about the importance of compassion and kindness and love and returning home to your heart. And I mean, how much better does it get? Sometimes there's a coffee and sometimes there's a margarita, but damn, like I got it good. Right?
Right? Totally.
Yeah.
I'm all my body's all goosebumpy. I love it.
Yeah.
Right?
So fun.
Blessed lives.
Yeah. Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, beauty. We'll chat soon.
Holy smokes, I can feel the embers from this bonfire still in my heart. Lesley just lights the world with her beautiful soul. You can find her in all the spaces, but I will put the links directly in the show notes. Pretty much you can find her at lesleyfornelli.com. You can find her on Instagram _lesleyfornelli_. She's in the spaces. Look her up. She's amazing. Let me share what else is on the platter for y'all for upcoming offers of support if you're looking for more. There is, of course, as you know, the monthly unconditionally used Zoom meeting, virtual meetup session that I offer once a month with a particular topic of focus. And it's an open space to come. It's a safe space to come and just exchange information, reflections, catch a few insights. Of course, you can get everything you need about numerology and more over on the website, www.fox10energetics.com. And if you would be so sweet as to leave a 5-star review for me for this podcast, it helps to keep this bumped up in the algorithm so other people can find it. Please share this out with your friends. And of course, if you don't want to miss anything, subscribe. The little buttons at the top with the 3 little dot thingies, just push the thing and it'll say subscribe or follow. I would just love that. So I'm just so very grateful to have this opportunity to bring you these interviews, these guest episodes, my little solo reflections. I do Thursday parking lot wisdom and just so much more. So again, sending you all so much love.